Hello and welcome back to Closing Shift, the podcast where we deal with the realist and keep it ill with the feeling of living while we surviving under the ceiling. On another important note, we'd like to clarify that all the content following this introductory segment will be completely fictional under kayfabe, and the members of the team here at Closing Shift are not liable or responsible for any controversial opinions shared. Now, we'd like to welcome you to this wonderful episode back on this lovely Friday, September 6th, I think. Anyway, the intro I wrote is over, but I wrote that, and I told me I had an intro today, and boy, did I bring it like The Rock brings it.
That was beautiful. I had a hard time trying to pay attention to it. In between, we're listening to a Spotify playlist, Lo-Fi Coffee Shop. It should be in the description down below if you want to listen along.
Don't link is in the description, you idiot.
But there's also, in the garage beneath me, and happening to the side of my house, the actual air coming from the air compressor that's just directly beneath me. It's all I can hear, just... And then I hear off to the side of the house. So...
Right, and my cat is yelling at me through the bathroom door.
Very calm and peaceful day that we are having here. We are starting this so exceptionally late compared to when we normally start. Because I woke up at 8:30 and was like, okay, if I can just like take a shower, have breakfast, then I'll be ready to go. Confirm that. And then I didn't even get done with all that until like 10:30. I took like 2 hours getting that shit done. And so I was like, oh man, I'm holding everything up. We're taking too long. We're going to be starting this so late.
And
then Emmy messages me.
Fell asleep during all that. So I slept late too. Because I woke up at like 8:30 Eastern time. So I woke up at like 5:30 Mia's time. And I was having a pretty normal morning. And then I decided, you know what? I'm going to play Pokemon Fire Red and lay in my bed while I wait for Mia, which is something I should be more responsible about, is knowing my limits with my inability to wait for something in my bed without passing out. The only reason it worked out yesterday, which we watched Bash in Berlin, which we will get to, but I was waiting for Mia and Chandler to watch it, and I laid in my bed to play Fire Red and wait for them, but Chandler almost immediately said, I'm going to be ready in a second, and I was like, oh, okay, and then I got out of bed. Otherwise, I probably would have fallen asleep.
We're like 3 hours behind schedule here. I think it's the most that we've been like off in terms of any of that.
Definitely in a while, at least.
I was so worried with how long I was taking to get ready this morning. I was like, oh my God, I'm holding her up. I'm being such a pain here. And then half an hour passed after I said I was ready. And then you messaged me saying that you had fallen asleep. And I was like, oh, thank God I didn't inconvenience anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of have years worth of a track record that I don't think I feel that I could get justifiably angry at you wasting my time.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't.
Big wow, big days.
I don't live in the past, but I take lessons from it and take morals from it. And so when people are late now, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I mean, I understand. I've been late many times, so.
Let it be a sign of the friendship that every single time that you mention anything of like any history of being late or being off schedule, anything, especially when it comes to like big wow, big days and like how off schedule and like late and everything happened there. Let that be a sign of the friendship that I have forgotten all of that and get reminded every time.
Yeah, and that I keep it in my head as like a thing that I need to, just like a...
Shame.
Not shame, but just a standard I uphold that I feel like what I should do probably more is not say like, I'll be here by this time when it's something like this. Just be like, I should be ready in the next like hour or two, give a more general time frame.
Yeah, we try and keep it into like a very like casual way. That's not like, okay, we gotta be at this time when we hit these beats at these moments. It's like, I'm ready from these times to these times, and it just works out.
You can finish whenever you want. I'm just gonna keep going.
Speaking of times, I have our opening question for this week, this episode 32.
Yep.
Half a stack of episodes. My question is, what 3 or maybe 5, if you want to share these, games do you have the most time on Steam?
Oh, I mean, these haven't changed in years, so...
I feel like I probably asked this before, but if I did ask it, I forgot, so we're asking again.
I mean, yeah, the thing about it is there's just like 5 games that have almost dominated my top times for years, and they never change. My top 5 are, in order from most to least, Among Us, Phasmophobia, Uno, Black Ops 3, and Crab Game. Actually, no, sorry. That is out of the games I have installed. Yeah, I forgot. But sorry, actual all my games is number 1 is Apex Legends, and then Among Us, Phasmophobia, Fall Guys, and Uno.
As far as I can... Actually, you want to give our totals for those? Give some digits?
Yeah, I have 224 hours in Apex Legends, 153 hours in Among Us, 133 hours in Phasmophobia, 80 hours in Fall Guys, and 75 hours in Uno. That was 2020, so...
Pretty fair spread.
2020 was when I was most chronically online besides 2019, and so those stats have lived on through the years, except for Apex Legends. That was later on when Chandler and I got really into it.
Fair enough. As far as I can tell from my library here, just looking at my collection of favorite games are the ones that I probably have the most anything for. I don't know if I could find any way of like, I guess because you have to manually add games to collections. I wish there was an easier way to look at the whole library for this. But it seems that number 1, Elden Ring. Number 2, Dark Souls 3. Number 3, Skyrim. Number 4, Counter-Strike. Number 5, Stardew Valley.
Wait, for looking at all your games time played?
Yeah.
Oh, if you're just on your library page, you can scroll down to all your games and hit sort by.
Oh yeah, you sure can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's right there. Hours played. Yeah, that's still... Okay, no, actually, you know what? That changes a little bit. It then goes from 5th place, then goes to Terraria, barely beating out Stardew Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And you wouldn't believe what comes immediately after Stardew Valley. It's Dark Souls 2.
Crazy.
Somehow I have more time in that than other games that I legitimately enjoy. And that being Elden Ring, being the number 1, comes in at 400 hours. Dark Souls 3 being number 2 comes in at 327. And weirdly enough, for how obsessed I am with Souls games and everything from Soft, my 400 hours in Elden Ring pales in comparison to the god above men, Randy Orton, the legend killer himself, killing legends all around the lands between. He said in a recent interview with Cody Rhodes on the podcast, What Do You Want to Talk About, sponsored by Wheatley Vodka, that he has 600 hours in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I would love to know more than anything the details of his Elden Ring time. Like, what build did he play? Like, what weapons does he prefer? What storylines does he go for? You know, like what quests does he finish? Is it all one new game plus that he just keeps rolling through, or is it new? I don't know. I'd love to know.
Maybe we'll be big enough one day we can catch Randy Orton after retirement.
I was thinking about like trying to like reach out to him just to like get a quick interview about Elden Ring.
Just to see.
Just, you know, never say never.
Never say never in the world of wrestling, that's for sure.
I've come around a lot more on Elden Ring these days. I think I can now officially say that I like the game. I've been playing it again in my own time, just in the few sparing moments that I have had between my ungodly busy month that I have had. I've taken the time to do a little bit of Elden Ringing, and it's been a good time. I find myself actually enjoying it at points, and just enjoying walking around the lands between.
That's cool.
I think I can now say confidently that I like Elden Ring. I've put my hatred of it behind me.
I can finally confidently say that I've never played it. Never played a FromSoft game for more than like a couple hours, probably.
I was planning to do a seamless co-op run with another streamer at some point, but that ended up falling through quite a long time back, and I kind of want to try and revive that.
Yeah, I would say my time played in games does not very much accurately represent the amount of investment mentally and emotionally I had in games over the last few years since all those games topped my hours played. Like, I'm a lot more invested in a lot of my games that have less hours. Like, Spider-Man Remastered only has like 60 hours, but I 400%ed that game, and it's my favorite game of all time.
How the fuck?
It's the first game that became my favorite game of all time ever since Mario Galaxy was my favorite game of all time.
I know that Banjo-Kazooie kind of started this with being able to complete above 100%, but what the fuck is 400%ing a game?
I completed all 4 campaigns 100%, is what I mean.
Oh.
There are 4 different storyline campaigns in Spider-Man Remastered, and I 100%ed all of them.
Okay.
Saying I 400% of the game is just easier. Plus, I did 400% give that game my heart, because I fucking love it. I played Miles Morales on PS4, but I didn't give that as much time, and I would like to buy it on PC and 100% it.
I've been tempted to get Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC. It was on sale again recently for like $20, and I've been tempted by it so much over the years of my desire to at some point finish Red Dead Redemption 2 because it's fun cowboy game. It's got a really good story, really good characters. I own it on Xbox One, but I really do not want to play it on Xbox One because it does not look great on there. It does not run great on there. If I could play it on PC, it's the same issue that I have with Resident Evil 8, where if I could play it on PC, I would enjoy the game a lot more than I currently do. And I would actually like go back and play it. So I've been tempted by that a lot over the years. And there was another sale recently that I had to pass on.
Right.
But I've just been thinking about it. The temptation grows stronger for cowboy.
Yeah, it's a shame. I had purchased recently Cyberpunk 2077 or whatever. I think that's the numbers.
Yep.
I had purchased it on a sale where it was like half off, and I played it, and I decided that I was not invested enough to keep it at the time. It was more about my money than the game, but I was like, if this game keeps me hooked, I will make it work and I'll keep it. But it didn't hook me quite enough. It wasn't that I didn't like the game. It just wasn't like really my thing.
Open world games can hook you about as well as you care to actually live in it. Like Night City, I like cyberpunk stuff. I love that aesthetic. I think it's all very cool. I love the political themes of the game as well. I think there's a lot of like great stuff that happens there. And so when I see Night City, I'm like, yeah, I would love to like take a vacation to Night City. That's how I view an open world game, is that I'm like taking a vacation to that place. You kind of have to let yourself get invested in the insignificant things. Like, oh, even this main story is cool, but hey, this guy has a penis that's on fire. Let me help fire penis man. It's about how much you actually want to live in the city. Like
just Breath of the Wild being an open world game, that game took me 7 years to get to the end of. I still haven't even finished it. I have a save file at the last boss fight and I just haven't done it yet.
I am considering replaying Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom this November. I know this November I'm going to be playing Spirit Tracks. I'm going to be doing a Zelda month type thing, sort of in a bit of nostalgia for classic YouTube, like normal boot stuff, like PBG used to do. I don't know, maybe he still does it. I don't even know. Every November doing Zelda-themed content for the whole month. So I'm like, you know what? I want to replay Spirit Tracks. I'll wait for November for that, and I'll do some other Zelda stuff too. And I'm tempted to go back for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but Tears of the Kingdom, by the time that I finished it, a lot of the fun I was having in the game was discovering new, like, glitches and exploits and things to do of that nature. Became, like, the fun, sort of crafty thing. That's how I filled my time. And so if I go back to Tears of the Kingdom now, I'm very worried that a lot of the things that I had fun fucking around with are going to be patched out and no longer work, when those were like a lot of my favorite parts. Was like, hey, let me put like a taser on this shield and then make a jump rope that stretches all the way across Hyrule Field. That was some good fun times, but I don't know if it's going to be the same game if I go back to it.
That's fair.
That's kind of why I got out of Forewarned. Was like a decent Phasmophobia type clone, but then they patched a lot of the fun speedrunning tricks that I put my fucking hard-earned hours into developing, and yeah, all that got patched out, so I was like, I don't care anymore. They're trying to make this an actual real game, and I'm trying to speedrun it, so my interests diverge.
Yeah, no. Similar to what we were talking about before the episode, is I'm very capable and almost enjoy just going with the flow a lot of the time. Like, when I want to play a game to the end, I will follow it almost exactly the way whoever developed it intended it. I never usually go out of my way to break the game because I'm not very creative, believe it or not, for how many creative things I've done over the years successfully. I'm just not very creative when it comes to casually consuming content. Besides the 2 times I heard 2 songs separately and thought these 2 would make a great mashup, and then I did mash them up, which I did. I did Kill Bill in the Dark, which was Kill Bill by SZA, and Slow Dancing in the Dark by Joji, which is one of my favorite creative things I've ever made. You can find it unlisted on my YouTube channel if you want. And I also made California Souls, which was a mashup of Souls by Kill Bill and Rav and California Love by Dr. Dre and Tupac.
That's a good one.
And I also love that mashup because I made it the same day I thought of it. And I just remember one of them came on in my car after I'd heard the other one earlier in the day, and I was on the way back from my university to my house, and I was just like, this sounds like super similar in BPM to like the other one. Are these the same BPM? And when I found out they were, I was like, oh, I gotta find the instrumentals and shit and the vocals. But yeah, I love those mashups just because I love music, and it's just 2 mashups of 4 songs I fucking adore anyway.
I'm trying to come around more now to new music. I'm trying to open my horizons a little bit. I opened them up a little bit earlier this year, I guess around June, I suppose is maybe when it would have been June or July.
Mm-hmm.
I think June. I started getting into Oasis, where I'd heard a little bit of it, but I hadn't really been into the band. So I went and I listened to Definitely Maybe and What's the Story Morning Glory, and I gave my reviews of those here on Closing Shift. And I'm now a fan of Oasis, and I was like, this is nice. This is fun getting into this music and expanding my horizons of it a bit. Shame that the band broke up quite a long time ago now because the 2 brothers are dickheads that hate each other. And lo and behold, I picked a fantastic time to get into Oasis, because after all these years of Liam calling his brother a potato, then finally they are starting to get back together again. Nobody expected it.
That is excellent news for Oasis fans. Oasis fans are thriving right now.
I would love if they put out some new stuff. They might just be doing like tours.
Yeah. But
I'm very excited that I now get to be excited for an Oasis reunion, because I knew about the band's legacy and their history before I really listened to much of their stuff.
I'm so excited about being what's the word? Excited.
Yeah. It's nice that like I get to have stake in this now.
I love when I'm excited about the emotion I'm feeling. That's also good and exciting. That's the worst part is when that gets turned around and you get angry that you're angry and it just becomes this awful cycle.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm always angry that I'm angry.
That used to be me a lot more, but then I did arguably too much like self-therapy over the years. I looked at myself introspectively like way too much, and then eventually I just kind of like cracked how my emotions work a lot better. A lot of it came with the diagnoses that I received over the years, and the treatments also. Because if you don't know this about me, I'm Cosmic Emerald and I take several prescription pills to survive every day. And I was eventually able to crack down on a lot of when my like mental health issues start acting up and being like, oh, I'm just having anxiety right now. This is okay. I'll get over it in a little while. Or like, oh, I just had a mood swing. I feel really depressed now, but I know it's not real, so I'll kind of just like try to distract myself.
I've definitely in recent times, I'd say that my temper's gotten a lot shorter over the years. And definitely recently, with being stressed of like just being so busy in the past month, it's gotten real bad. I'm angry about like everything now.
Yes.
It takes me like 2 seconds to boil over.
I had an incredibly stressful last month, and my temper was not great either. I cannot communicate when I'm like super anxietied up. Like my texts come off extremely passive aggressive when I'm like, I had to establish to my sister, I was like, I just want you to know that if I'm ever texting you and I'm like really anxious, it's going to come off like really rambly and passive aggressive. And so I'm going to try to just like let you know that I'm feeling anxious and I can't talk right now instead. But just so you know, like I never mean ill intent when I start doing that, just because like my anxiety ass is trying to over explain what I'm thinking. Because it used to be I had no control of my emotions back in the day. So I used to be so easily set off by like losing in a video game or some shit. Feel bad for how much I've put my friends through that over the years, but then I eventually thankfully was able to get over it mostly.
Yeah, I've definitely always had like an issue with that, but especially recently, it's been like I'm for like the past probably several months, it's been like I'm the camel and I'm about 2 straws away from having my back broken. And every day, 1 straw gets added to it. And if I have a good day, then 1 straw gets taken away. And if I have a bad day, that adds a couple straws, and there goes the camel. It's like that constant, like, just towing that line every day of just like, oh, is it going to go over? Is this going to be the thing that sets me off? Like not last week, 2 weeks ago, when I got the phone call right when we started this show.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God. It's like the last thing I needed that week.
You blew my ears out like an atomic bomb, but it was understandable.
So that's a good example of where I've been.
I remember a few years ago we were in a call doing something. I don't know what we were doing. We were probably playing a game or something, and you were like yelling, and I was like was like, stop yelling. And you were like, no, turn me down. And I was like, oh, yeah.
We were watching the Game Awards, and Metroid Dread had won something in the Game Awards.
Wow, you remember that very specifically.
And I yelled in celebration.
I didn't remember the event at all. That's when that happened?
I remember it because I hold a growing log of shame for all the times that I yell.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I hold a grudge against your stupid ass every day, and I hate you.
I'm trying to be more calm and less reactive.
Over the years, like last night when you were, I'll just say yelling at Chandler.
I was yelling at Chandler. We were playing Black Ops 3 gun game.
Yeah.
And I have 9 hours total in any Call of Duty game. You know, that being Black Ops 3, and we've been playing zombies. And Chandler was fucking stomping us. And I was trying to get like a single kill on him, and he's quick scoping me.
Yeah.
So I may have I may have lost my temper a little bit and may have told him to do some ill-advised actions.
And I may have told him to remove some things from this planet. Not
any actions that he doesn't threaten to do himself constantly.
Yeah, no, none of it was unjustified. It was completely justified because we all know each other. That's why I think it was the last episode or the episode before, I said something on Closing Shift. I was going to say something about Chandler, and I was like referencing how Chandler will say jokes and then be like, I'm sorry, nowadays. But I was like, I won't say the joke for the sake of context because like all of our friends have the context. But if I just said what he said to you guys would be like, what the fuck? Why was he like thinking that?
Yeah.
But you guys don't understand. So fuck off. But also leave a comment on your favorite moment on Spotify and YouTube.
Hey, you know what else you can leave a comment of? Your guess for this segment that I'm bringing back this week.
Your social security number.
Oh, they don't even have to do that after the leaks that happened like a month ago, where literally everybody's social security number got leaked.
Where everyone with the Spotify account who subscribed to Closing Shift's social security numbers got leaked by somebody anonymous, not us.
But our segment that's bringing back this week, where I am going to read an archived newspaper from a bygone era, and it is going to be Emmy's job to guess, at least vaguely, when this newspaper was published. A thought exercise of comparing the past to the present. Are you ready?
I guess.
I have a real treat for you this week. ACLU backs gay rights fight in Arizona. The time has come for all people.
Oh, that was it.
No, that's the headline.
I was like, are you serious? That's it? That's all I get?
The time has come for all people concerned with their civil liberties to get off their duffs and become concerned. There are some people who are trying very hard to put our gay lifestyle down. You are going to be labeled criminals. You are going to jail for doing what comes naturally. You are letting yourself open to criminal charges if you conduct your sexual life in any manner other than heterosexual. If this is what you want, if you are not concerned, if you don't care that the so-called powers that be can run your lives from the floor of the legislature, telling you what you can and cannot do in the privacy of your homes between consenting adults, then that is your problem, and please read no further. This article is for concerned persons. The only way we are going to stop this foolishness is to get concerned. Shortly, the Arizona State Legislature will be asked to vote on the revised Arizona Criminal Code. We have spoken about this several times in the past. Apathy still seems to prevail. We warn you that unless something is done to stop passage of certain sections of this revision as they pertain to homosexual conduct, we all are in deep trouble. Do you have any immediate guesses while we're about halfway through this article?
No.
No immediate guesses.
No.
While most states are repealing anti-gay sex laws, our Arizona legislature...
1492 when Christopher Columbus discovered Arizona.
Our Arizona legislature is going to enact new laws banning gay sex. There are some concerned citizens who are helping fight this slap in the face of the gay community. Many of them are non-gay. They all realize what true freedom means and are willing to stand up to put a stop to discriminatory laws. One of the leading non-gay forces helping us in this fight is the Arizona Civil Liberties Union. This group is fighting tooth and nail to stop our legislature from passing laws that affect any freedom that is constitutionally ours. They need your help. We urgently request that you join them in their efforts to help us. Sorry, I misspoke. In Phoenix this Saturday, February 12th at Casa de Roma, not going to give the address. At 3 p.m., there will be a meeting that will be moderated by Nancy Hicks, Executive Director of ACLU. There will be other ACLU members and several members of the Arizona legislature who are opposed to the revision. The legislative members will attend to see just how interested the Phoenix gay community is in fighting the passage of the revised criminal code. Here is your chance, Phoenix. Get it together and come to the Casa at 3 o'clock in the afternoon this Saturday in droves to show these people that you do not want your rights violated. Tucsonians, of course, are invited to the Casa meeting, and we hope many will attend. If you do, be sure to make your presence known. When do you think this article was written?
Can I at least be allowed a hint about which century this was in?
It is 20th.
I figured. I would guess like the 70s or 80s, but I don't know. Specific year is kind of hard. How many points do I get if I'm in the same decade?
I mean, we don't have points going on for any of this, but, you know, let's just say that let's establish a point system here. If you get the exact year, you get 5 points. If you are within 5 years, you get 3 points. If you're in the correct decade, you get 2 points. And if you're in the correct century, 1 point.
I feel like you could just stop a decade.
Some of these, though.
I feel like if we do this to each other, we should at least be allowed to know which century this was in.
No, that's what makes it fun.
Well, that's what makes it hard.
Well, they don't just give you letters for free in Wordle.
I don't need them. I'm good at Wordle. I'm not good at this.
But that's what's fun about this, is that it's supposed to be like, oh, you don't know if this is like maybe something that's relevant from back then is still just as relevant today.
I hate exercising my brain. I'd go to school if I wanted to learn, asshole. Anyway.
The point is that the news, sometimes it looks the same back then as the struggles that we have now.
I've seen a lot of, I've actually learned a lot about the past that's like the shit we're like fighting for now. We were already fighting for like 50 years ago, and they just didn't listen back then either. And I didn't know a lot of that until I like was in my 20s and I learned about it. I learned a lot about it in my college U.S. history class a few years ago, and I actually learned a lot. My U.S. history teacher was very based, taught us a lot about like gay rights activism and civil rights for African Americans and stuff. I actually learned a lot of cool stuff in that class. That history professor, I also just want to say I came out as Emmy, as trans in 2022 while I was in that class. And my professor was like, just so you know, if any of your other professors like aren't respecting your chosen name or your pronouns, let me know and I'll help you out.
Oh, that's
I
nice.
was like, that is so cool.
Yeah, that's why when people look back at a lot of classic sci-fi stuff that came out in like the 70s to 80s, maybe even early 90s, people look at those and they're like, oh my God, it holds a mirror up to today. They predicted the future so well. It's like, no, they didn't. We are just dealing with the same shit from 50 years ago, and we didn't deal with it then. So it looks like it's a prophecy when Blade Runner is calling all this shit. But in fact, all that shit was just around back then, and nobody listened.
It sounds like you just don't like Blade Runner.
I've never seen it, but I wanna.
I've never seen it either. I don't really care. I don't know anything about Blade Runner.
That's what people talk about a lot of like sci-fi. Is like, no, sci-fi has to hold a mirror up to society. Sci-fi has to like be some form of like.
It's actually pronounced sci-fi.
It's like this idea that like sci-fi has to say something about like the modern times or be like predictive in that way. But that's just because people will just...
Back to the Future predicted the World Series.
Yeah, it's just because like the most famous sci-fi happened to be critiques of the time it lived in, that then when we look at it, it's like, it's that mentality is how we get shit like in Star Trek Picard, where they go to 2020 and go to the fucking border. It's like, this isn't Star Trek. That's not what this... Sci-fi doesn't have to be that, especially if you're not going to do it well.
Hold on, let me think about this. Because I was slipping away mentally from that we were doing the thing.
Yeah, from a segment.
So let me think about this. Arizona gay rights, the article was about the rights, not, like, against them.
It's about a fight for gay rights.
I'm thinking of that also, that woman's whose last name was Hicks. That sounds a lot older.
I don't know, there was,
not like that much older, but I was thinking 20th century. That's why I wanted to clarify
that.
that.
A Disney Channel star on like I don't remember what show.
Hillary Hicks. I remember her.
Adam Hicks, something.
I have no idea. I just heard the last name Hicks and I was like, oh, that sounds like some news reporter from like the 80s or 70s.
I think Adam Hicks got arrested for some shit.
Honestly, I think I'm gonna be a bitch and guess a year that ends in 5 just to like be as close as like numerically can. I'm gonna guess 1985.
Ooh.
That's my guess.
You were closer earlier when you said the 70s. This is the second issue, the second volume, the 6th issue of the Arizona Gay News from February 11th, 1977, formerly known as, hang on, I just had it here.
I was going to guess 75, and I just changed it at the last second.
It was previously known as the Tucson Gay Newsletter, but this was a pro...
Like Tucson Sam from, like, Fruit Loops?
We don't have time to, like, break down every way that I hate that.
I always piss them off.
Checkmate.
I always do it.
Yeah, this was a pro-gay lifestyle newspaper from 1977 of all times. And it has all your standard things of, you have articles about like what was happening for gay rights and just the state of living as a queer person in these times. But then you also have stuff like letters that people would write to the page, and you'd hear like, oh, here's this local gay couple getting married, or like, they're eloping, all kinds of fun stuff like that. Just like everything that if it was gay and it had gay people involved, this is how you'd find out about it. You had like classifieds and like people,
70s news articles be like, and here's a gay couple that recently played house and pretended to get married in their living room.
Yeah, I just thought it was a pretty fun thing to come across here. That was like, oh, that was like a thing in 1977, a newspaper that is like way more vocal about this than people even are today.
Yeah, the 70s was really gay.
Yeah, it was around the 70s that like they started to, I guess it was closer to like the 50s, starting around like the 50s is when they started to really crack down on like sodomy laws, and like it started to get really fucked up. And that's where you get like, they would make like PSA, like public service videos that'd be like, now remember, little Billy, if you go down to play basketball and middle-aged man tries to carry you away, tell him no, because he's a homosexual and he's going to do terrible things to you. Like, they would make, like, anti-gay, like the gay people are going to come for your children. All the way back then, in, like, the 50s. Yeah. It never changes.
I saw a PSA about, like, grown men who are gay, so they prey on your children from, like, way back in the day.
Yeah, it all just, like, before it was trans people getting this accusation, it was gay people, and before it was gay people, it was mostly people of color, and now we just get all three.
Yes, there are so many that they have bundled them all together.
All I can think about every time this kind of topic, I just think of that one like protest that happened around the time of, I guess it was around the 60s, of these white people holding up these signs that say like race mixing is communism. Like, somehow those people never disappeared, and like they still just have those beliefs to this day.
Whatever, man. Losers are gonna say shit, and it's annoying.
We'll never be rid of dumb people that want to be angry for whatever purpose.
I do now. To transition from your segment, I have a little pilot edition of my segment I've been working on. I was not able to come up with enough questions for like the full kind of game format I wanted for it, but my game I suggested in the last episode, I said you guys should tune into this episode to see it played out. So I came up with some questions I could do. I had to make them worth the quality I wanted for the game so that it worked. And I feel like I've got 4 pretty decent ones. So this game I made is called The Underlying Question. And I'm certainly probably not the first person to like make this. So if you're going to go in the comments and be like, you didn't make that, I saw in those other podcasts, suck my dick, I don't care. I wanted to make this question or this game because I saw something on Distractable that inspired it. It wasn't quite this, but I thought of this from watching that episode. So the underlying question is basically a game where I'm going to ask Mia questions and they're going to be really vague. And you're going to answer just based on, in the moment, what your thought process is.
Smash.
And then, after I ask all the questions for the round, I will reveal to you what you actually answered, and you will have an opportunity to either change your answer or be like, oh, thank God I picked that one by chance.
Almost like a reverse Mad Lib.
Yeah. So I guess I will start rolling out the questions. So the first one is smash or pass. and I'm going to just literally ask you smash or pass.
Okay.
Number 1.
Yeah, so when I said smash there as a joke, I was just actually like on beat.
Oh, I didn't even hear you say that.
Oh.
But anyway, smash or pass. Number 1. Smash or pass.
Smash or pass number 1, refrigerator. Smash. Yeah, I guess I'll just say smash.
Okay. Smash or pass number 2.
Smash.
Cool. Smash or pass number 3.
Pass. I'm not a whore.
Surprisingly, almost pretty accurate for you, I'll be honest.
Hey.
You might need to look up what these are, but that's okay. Now I'm going to ask you, and so this kind of format is I'm going to ask you to choose like a thing out of 2 choices, and then later you'll find out, I will reveal what you like would use them for that you actually chose to use them for.
Just blindly choosing an adventure.
Basically, yeah. It's like that online text adventure RPG thing, but you don't actually know what your choices mean.
It's like we're doing Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, except it's just backwards. That's how I feel right now. Is that like somehow you, the one with the bomb, is giving me directions.
Right. The 2 choices I would like you to pick from are, would you rather use the Rode PSA1 Pro Studio ARM or the JBL Party Box 10? Sorry, JBL Party Box 110.
Never been a big fan of JBL, so I'll say the Rode.
Okay. The Rode PS1 Pro Studio mic boom arm.
Yep. Definitely not things that are probably in your room right now.
Next question is, would you rather use tub margarine or a stick of butter?
Oh, stick of butter all the way.
All right. And the final question I have ready for this episode is, would you rather pick Lindsay Lohan or Shia LaBeouf?
Shia LaBeouf, I remember there being some weird things about him, like not being a good guy, so I'll say Lindsay Lohan.
All right. So now I will proceed to reveal, I don't know, there's something about holding the secret that just makes me want to never tell you what you chose, but
yeah, you just get to like keep this horrible perverse box closed.
Yeah, I just made you make choices and now I can reveal that you made those choices, but just like tweet it out, but you never actually made the choices.
Yeah.
All right, so the first set of questions was smash or pass. You said smash for number 1, smash for number 2, and pass for number 3. Number 1 was the Emperor or Darth Sidious from Star Wars, and you said smash. So,
let me look up what that guy looks like. I have no Darth Sidious.
Oh, you're not gonna like it. He's super old and wrinkly.
Oh, wait, no, that's Palpatine.
Yeah, it's who Palpatine turns into.
Well, somebody had to fuck Palpatine. That's how we got Rey.
Well, not Palpatine when he turns into the Emperor Darth Sidious. That is who you chose.
I've seen worse on Star Trek that I would probably say smash to, so yeah.
Okay. Number 2, you said smash was Roman Reigns, so that's
that's a handsome man.
It's actually pretty good. And number 3, you said pass. Thank God you said pass. Number 3 was Hillary Clinton.
Oh God, no! Pull up that picture of her holding the donut next to the young woman.
So you got lucky.
Famous picture, Hillary Clinton with the donut. Actually, no, I don't know if you know that picture, so I need to send it to you.
I don't.
People make very inappropriate sex jokes about it. And you can just find it first image if you look up Hillary Clinton donut.
Oh.
Yeah.
So number 2 was I asked you to choose between the Rode PSA1 Pro Studio Boom Arm or the JBL Party Box 110. And you chose the Rode PSA Pro Studio Arm, which is funny that it's one was longer and one was thicker, and the purpose was for use as a dildo. So
oh no,
you chose a mic boom arm. It's either this giant subwoofer or microphone boom arm, and you chose the thinner, longer option.
Does that one have like external springs?
I believe it is the one with the external springs.
Oh
yeah.
No.
That's what you chose there.
This is a horrible game. I love it.
Would you keep your choice?
I mean, I'm not fucking... There's no way you're getting a subwoofer up there.
Yeah, fair.
Unless you're a dom woofer.
All right, and then your third question I asked you to choose was between tub margarine or a stick of butter, which
no.
was for using for lubricant for sex. So you chose to rather rub a stick of butter all over your dick instead of using tub margarine and spreading it like toast.
I remember, there was, I guess, a well-known, if you were on internet forums in that time, a story of a guy trying to use butter as lubrication with his girlfriend. And because the butter was hard from being in the fridge, he like microwaved it to warm it up and then poured scalding hot butter all over both of their genitalia.
He deserves that. She didn't deserve that, but he did for that idea. That was
scalding
stupid.
Butter in your hoo-ha!
True. And then the final question I asked you was to pick between Lindsay Lohan or Shia LaBeouf, and you chose Lindsay Lohan, and this choice was for if you were going to be president. This was for your vice president pick, so you chose Lindsay Lohan to be your VP. And I had trouble with that last one. I had to really think.
I thought with the nature of the other questions that was going to be like, who's the cuck in the corner?
No, this game is not to be predictable.
Well, that was a very fun game.
Thank you. That is the underlying question. I will eventually make a format of which I can do it in rounds, because it's hypothetically supposed to be that. But yeah, I came up with that idea, and I'm glad you like it. I hope you guys liked it too. If you know what, if you wanted to, you guys, I would have said this before if I had thought of it, but you guys can leave your choices that you chose from those questions in the comments.
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of interactable things here now, a lot more fun and engaging things that you can play along with at home.
Yeah, we wanted to create some more like segments. I feel like these are two good ones.
Oh, I have, I guess I want to open this up for anybody out there who also would know anything about, you know, these articles that I've been sharing and we've been having fun with. If anybody else knows of any interesting articles from a bygone age, please send them to me either through Discord. If you're in my Discord, you can access me easily there, or through Twitter DMs, or email me at rcquestboard. That's rcquestboard@gmail.com, which that email is normally for community outreach things on my stream. But if you have anything for that, if you are aware of any like fun articles from a bygone time, please send those my way.
And don't send your questions to me, because I'm not going to use them.
Yeah, don't send the articles to Emmy.
No, not the articles. Don't suggest questions for my game to me, because I'm not going to use them.
Don't send questions to me. Don't send articles to Emmy. But send articles to me. And also don't send questions to Emmy.
Yeah. Don't send questions to any of us. Send articles to me. Leave a comment of your top Smash pick.
Smash.
Yeah, no, when you chose pass at the end there, I was like, whoa, you dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good stuff. I thought of the other three questions. The first three I thought of like the other day, and I thought of the vice president question yesterday, but I couldn't nail down two people. I started with Miley Cyrus and then was like, who would be somebody else like controversial that would make this a wild question? The reveal of it is the whole gimmick, so I had to come up with like, when it's revealed, it has to be crazy.
Yeah, that's a real good game you got in your hands there.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I came up with a couple game show ideas I wanted to do for my YouTube channel, but none of them ever fleshed out. I wanted to come up with more shows for my YouTube channel after I started getting to know, but I took a step away from all that, so I wasn't able to. But I would be not opposed to doing more episodes of Getting to Know eventually. I don't know how or when, but if I ever had an opportunity to, I would.
Oh my god. We're 42 minutes into this, and I just remembered. We forgot about Bash in Berlin.
We did. As of late recent weeks, we've been making this a lot more our show and less about wrestling, somehow. Well, we can run through Bash in Berlin real quick for like 10 minutes.
Let's run through it.
There weren't that many matches, so we can talk about them. The night started with the undisputed WWE Championship match between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. Really good match. A lot of fun to watch, honestly. And a lot of crazy, throughout Bash in Berlin in general, a lot of crazy pinfalls that you would have thought finished it. But Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes had 2 count falls so many times, it actually got really crazy. Definitely one of the more favorable matches of the night. And it was really cool. Cody Rhodes ended up saving his title. And he fell on his injured leg that Kevin Owens revealed had been injured. And Cody Rhodes was kind of keeping it a secret, but Cody fell on his injured leg during the match, and Kevin Owens was going to snap his leg to take the championship, but he couldn't bring himself to do it, which was interesting. And it was kind of weird that they didn't make him turn heel there, because that was like the chance. But
I think if he would have turned heel there, it would have been too sudden from him being like all about helping Cody. Like recently, like him and Randy have been all about like protecting Cody from the bloodline and just being bros in general. And the only reason that Kevin would have to try and turn anything against him or go against him in this time is just that Cody wanted to go against Kevin, give him a shot at it, but Kevin really didn't want to accept this match. Even at the start of it, he was like sulking in the corner for a while. And at the end of it too, he was like...
Yeah, he was like pouting in the corner.
He was like looking over the side of the ring at the end of it, just like didn't even want to like interact with Cody. Like he was... You could tell it's like it's not something that that he wanted to be a part of at any point, and there was the temptation to turn heel in the middle of it. I don't really know what that means for Kevin and what that means of his ambition, where his goals lie currently. But for the moment, he's sticking with Cody, but we might see that change.
Yeah, I don't know what they're building to, but there might be. The next PLE coming up is Bad Blood, the one that we're going to, so we're going to just have to see the build to that.
I get a feeling right now that we might see, if Kevin is going to heel turn on Cody, we might see some kind of triple threat action happening with Cody, Roman, and Kevin. And Solo, I guess. I think there's going to be internal battles of Kevin and Cody, internal battles of Solo and Roman, and then those four all having this clash for the title.
I don't know about that, but I know a lot. I'm expecting Bloodline internal, Blood War, Civil War, because did I say Blood War? I meant Bloodline Civil War, sorry.
Blood War.
Because there's still a whole storyline to come that's Solo's bullshit little Temu bloodline versus Roman's OG bloodline with Jimmy and Paul Heyman, who's obviously not a wrestler, but he is part of the bloodline. And Jay and Sammy are rumored to be part of that fight, but I don't know. We're gonna just have to see. Again, they're gonna be building to Bad Blood, and there's only one match that's pretty rumored and highly likely that's rumored right now. No other matches for it have been even conceived yet, except by WWE, obviously. But the only match that we know of about Bad Blood that's probably going to happen is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in Hell in a Cell, which is pretty awesome. Besides that, moving on to the next match of Bash in Berlin, it was the women's tag team titles of, I forget their names, but the current tag team champs versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill.
They were called Unholy Union or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was that Unholy Union.
Which I think we know, but we don't see much of them. WWE doesn't like unions.
They put on a generally pretty good match. Wasn't anything too crazy. Jade and Bianca ended up taking the titles back, which a lot of people were also disappointed. A lot of people had opposite opinions, I feel than we did watching it. You mean Chandler? Because the internet was saying how much people were expecting these heel turns. So expecting Jade or Bianca to turn heel on the other, Kevin to turn heel on Cody and stuff. And I feel a lot more people went into it focusing on that probably happening than actually reveling in the quality of the show itself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people keep saying, and I mean, we'll get to it. A lot of people keep talking so positively about the Gunter versus Randy match, but I thought it was super boring most of the time. And I just hear people calling it an instant classic, a match for the books. Someone called it a match of the year candidate.
Ugh.
I was no, it's not. It was super, what do you mean? But anyway, that women's tag match was pretty good. It showed off a lot of what all four of those women can do, but it set up a tag team reunion of the titles between Bianca and Jade, so we'll see where that goes also.
Which is kind of unfortunate now that whenever we see any kind of women's titles happening in PLEs, any main event, WWE events, it's all tag titles. It's kind of an unfortunate thing that all of these amazing female wrestlers, that they aren't trusted enough to have a solo spot.
What's interesting too is we still have to wait on Tiffany Stratton to cash in her Money in the Bank. And I think she might eventually cash in on Nia. Because Nia Jax is the current women's world champion on SmackDown, and Tiffany keeps teasing it, cashing on her until Nia catches her, and I think she's just afraid of Nia more than anything. But I do think there's a good opportunity for her to turn on Nia and cash in and kind of return to her previously established babyface persona. Well, not really babyface. She's, but everyone likes her. So
yeah,
her Tiffy time bit is pretty good, pretty powerful.
Very fun.
She kind of main evented Jey Uso, the women's division in a way. But then the next match after that, after the women's tag team match, was I believe it was the strap match between Drew and Punk, which was a amazing match. I had a blast watching that one. Drew hypocritically went and attacked Punk while he was still doing his entrance from behind, because he had been bitching and moaning about Punk attacking him from behind, and then he did that. And I think at SummerSlam, they kind of ran it Punk let his emotions get in the way of winning, and I think Drew did the same this match. I think Drew was just too bitter to focus, and he let his emotions compromise his ability to win.
Yeah.
One of my favorite parts of the match was when Drew was carrying Punk around the ring and tapping every corner, and Punk was secretly tapping every corner behind Drew.
It was so good. It was some real Looney Tune shit.
It was great. I'm really happy Punk's back in the ring because it's just so entertaining every time. That match was an instant classic.
I think those are both fantastic wrestlers that know how to always put on a great show. And weirdly enough, even though that has been like the feud that I have been most interested in, that being Punk and McIntyre, weirdly enough, that has been the most criticized I've seen online. People are like, oh, they're just fighting over a stupid bracelet. It's like, I guess you could look at it like that, but it's like more than that. The bracelet is just kind of like the centerpiece of it, the same way that, like, it's the same criticism that people are giving to the Bloodline stuff. It's like, oh, they're fighting over a necklace, they're fighting over a bracelet. It's like, it's not about the actual object itself. The object is just a center key item to keep you, the viewer, focused on what the goal is. So that way then, like, you know, there's this thing that you can focus your attention on that serves to further their goals. It's not like CM Punk isn't out here trying to, like, get Drew McIntyre because of a bracelet that he really needs. It's because that bracelet was given to him by a fan. And what it means to him is that if Drew McIntyre is holding this bracelet, that's a symbol that Drew McIntyre is trying to have this power, hold this fear over CM Punk. It's not about the literal bracelet, it's a symbol. Same with the Ulafala. It's not just a necklace, and which, of course, it's not just a necklace. That is it is a cultural item. It is a symbol of their ambition and their goals. I don't know why people are so mad about it.
Also, do any of you understand that these are, like, adults? If they didn't want to fight over this shit, they wouldn't. And also, it's fictional storytelling. Like, get off of your, like, I could write this horse. Like, shut the fuck up.
People just hate anything that's actually fun.
Yeah, like, Punk versus McIntyre, it's actually really creative the way they've been able to have no championship involved in one of the biggest rivalries in the company right now.
Yeah.
Has nothing to do with the championship yet. It's keeping millions of viewers hooked.
Shall we, I think, was there anything else between Punk and the final match?
Yeah, there was one more match I thought, but I'm not remembering what it was. Oh, we forgot about, like, one of the best matches of the night. It was the Terror Twins versus Dirty Dom and Liv Morgan.
Yes, that's the other big highlight. That happened, like, real close to the start as well, so it's easier to slip out of memory.
Yes, that one was great.
Because it really, declined in energy the longer that the events went on. It kind of got more stale towards the end, so the stuff at the beginning, very exciting. The Terror Twins was a beautiful match, very fun. Love seeing Damian and Rhea interacting is always a good time. They're fun. Everybody had, like, all kinds of themes going on here. You know, Liv and Damian, they had, like, their matching things. Damian, whatever that cloth is that hangs, like, down his legs that he's always wearing. He always has something with that. I don't know what that is. But he had a picture of him and Liv Morgan, like, making out printed on it. It's like, oh my God, this guy.
It's just perfect.
That is a very fun storyline happening.
Like, I was watching the last Raw when the Judgment Day was beating up on the LWO, and then Rhea and Damian came out to kill them, and they were each wearing the other's merch. Damian was wearing a Rhea shirt, and Rhea was wearing a Damian shirt. It was awesome.
So cute.
They're just like a match made in heaven in wrestling, but in the least romantic way, in like the killer way.
I do love so much whenever there is that sort of connection between these personalities that it's like, it's very clear that this isn't going to be like a weird romance subplot. It's just two people who like really have a connection with each other.
Yeah, for real. It's great. And then the main event of the match, the PLE, was Gunther versus Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship, which was a letdown in my eyes. A lot of people are calling it like the best match ever for some reason. I don't understand it. It just had a lot of really extended bits that were not entertaining, and then a lot of the same thing over and over. I don't understand how people loved it so much.
These being two people that you would think you would love to see in the ring with each other. This is something that's like a very high stakes kind of thing of Gunther versus Orton. That's like, these are two titans, these two crazy men that are capable of such...
it's like a hypothetical dream match.
Yeah, like such incredible physical feats, the both of them. They're both just like, they're real killers, both of them. So you expect when they get into the match, you get into the ring, that's like, we're going to see some like really good, really exciting wrestling. But what we got was really the opposite. Something that you would not expect from like Randy Orton of all people to be such a low energy match. I think at one point you had Gunter setting up, I think it was a power bomb, and it took like 2 minutes for him to do the power bomb because they kept doing this teasing throughout the whole match. I guess they wanted to make it seem like, oh, they both, they both like came out swinging so hard on each other that now they're going to be like exhausted for the whole rest of the match. But that just meant that like the start of the match just kind of had like a couple things, but then they were just kind of doing nothing for a lot of the rest of the match. It was, like it took 4 attempts at starting up the power bomb for him to actually do it. And the whole time you're just like, okay, here it comes. When's it going to happen? It is still waiting. And we had that same problem later when Randy was setting up the stairs next to the German commentator's table that he was going to throw Gunter through. That is like, okay, that's like a fun thing, like setting up the stairs and throwing him through that. But that took like at least 2, maybe 3 minutes for him just to move those 2 stair pieces like 5 feet. And then even longer to get Gunter over there and throw him through. It seemed like the most time fillery of all of the matches.
Yeah, it was just like way too drawn out. And I don't know what that had to do with, but
I get they wanted to do like some kind of drama, but it was way too slow to actually build any amount of like tension with that drama.
Yeah, I really hope that like if they face off again, they can top that, because it is like a hypothetical dream match, I feel like a lot of people would say. And apparently a lot of people love that match. I don't understand it. Like, we were talking the whole time about like, is anything ever gonna fucking happen? They're just like not even wrestling. It was just not a great match on the par of these two legends.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of wrestling happening in this main event wrestling match. I can sort of understand to some degree what I'm assuming is happening are people who are big fans of Orton, people who are big fans of Gunter, people who have wanted to see these two go head to head for so long that no matter what happened, this was their dream match, and whatever happened in it, like they were already invested from the start, that it kind of was like they can do no wrong from here on. Like, I got what I wanted immediately just seeing these two in the ring, so I'm not going to be critical of the rest of this.
Right.
That's my assumption. That may be unfair and unbased, but I don't know. That's as far as I can see it.
I just don't understand. This is the first time I've seen like reactions to a wrestling PLE, and I disagree with like so many of them, because people are like disappointed that these people didn't turn heel, and people are like praising the ever-loving shit out of the Gunter Randy match, and I'm just like I don't know how any of you, what show did you guys watch? Because I don't feel the same about any of this, and I don't think like people are stupid or wrong for enjoying the show the way they did, or criticizing it the way they are. But I don't understand it. The fact that it's so many people, I think, is what blows my mind.
You know what's really funny?
What?
Is that I've seen the same people who have been posting recently, the people who are like have very negative opinion of this whole Punk and Drew thing with the bracelet. People making fun of that the most vocally, saying, I don't care about the story, I judge this based on the quality of the wrestling, is what a lot of them have been saying. But then I see those same people are the ones that are like the most adamant to defend Randy v. Gunter. But it's like, what do you mean you're like the quality of the wrestling? There was no wrestling. It's all story. I just don't get it.
I don't either. It was interesting, just all the reactions, but I'm mostly excited. I was excited regardless for Bash in Berlin because it's the last PLE to Bad Blood, so I was looking forward to regardless. Then now we can just watch the build to Bad Blood and we can get more excited because we already will like be there, so we can just kind of be like, oh, this is going to be crazy, which is exciting.
Very exciting.
Because I haven't been to a PLE since 2011, and Mia's never been to one, and we've certainly never been to one together, so it's going to be dope.
It'll be I guess it would technically be my third time to the state of Georgia, because it would be, because I've driven through it on family vacations. But the first time I'll actually have been like stopped in Georgia to do stuff, other than just like passing through and going to a shitty Burger King. So pretty cool.
Yes, I think you'll quite enjoy your time here.
We're waiting every night to finally Roman invite.
Got a lot of cool stuff going on here, especially in the city of Atlanta. Can take you to Wingstop.
Oh boy, Wingstop. What's next? Buffalo Wild Wings?
Next is Papa John's.
The best pizza.
And then we'll go do some shopping at Kroger.
Oh, everything. We don't have Kroger out here out west because we have Fry's. That's all owned by Kroger. So everything that you get at Fry's always has, like, if it's a Fry's brand thing, it has a little Kroger logo, like, printed somewhere small on it. Because it's all
nice.
I guess they just are acquired. I'm so sad at, like, the gutting, the butchering of Fry's out here out west. Because we have stuff like Fry's Electronics that was, like, you know, kind of a little bit more like a Blockbuster kind of thing, but a little bit more like modernized sort of retail experience. And all of them would be like themed in very fun ways. But then, those have all kind of fallen out in more recent times. And a lot of them just don't even exist anymore. But they would always have like really fun movie themed or all kinds of things like that. Like you'd see the outside of the store would look like an ancient temple. And it's like, ooh, I'll go buy a DVD player there. Kind of sad. Just the fun being stripped away from it all.
I've heard of Fry's Electronics. When you said Fry's, my first thought was electronics, but I was like, obviously you're not talking about Fry's Electronics. Micro Center is a place similar to that, although they just sell like modern tech stuff. But I haven't been to one in a long time. The only time I ever bought anything from one was when I was 16 and I got my first pre-built PC that was built by my uncle. We bought the tower case there, and it was just this really like gamery looking one. It was pretty basic.
I got my first real PC, bought it at the 5 and dime. I don't know why I can't get the summer of 69 out of my head recently.
Well, how could you? It was so recent. It was like it was yesterday.
Standing on your mama's punch. I only know that game from like, I guess it would be Lego Rock Band. I think it was in that game.
Yeah, that song, yeah.
Yeah.
I just know of its existence. I don't know it like that. But I did find a lot of rock and metal songs from specifically WWE and Guitar Hero, but also Guitar Hero was only like a few things, and most of them I don't even listen to still. Also on the radio. There used to be a radio station here that played metal all the time, and now it just plays pop. But when it played metal in the 2000s, me and my dad listened. He had it on in the car all the time, so I heard a lot of Avenged Sevenfold and System of a Down and Papa Roach and stuff.
It would always be, if I was in the car with my mom or my grandma, it would always be like, you know, like K-Love and all these like Christian music channels. But then in the car with my dad, that's when we get the rock.
Yeah, like Nickelback?
Yeah, like Nickelback.
Like Saving Abel?
I don't even know what that is.
I think that's the name of the band. They have like one song that was popular, and I forget it exists most of my life. I only saw it again recently in like I made a Spotify radio off of another song, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that song. But I guess that's probably a fair place to wrap up, huh?
I would suppose so.
Well, thank you all for listening, and hope you enjoyed. Feel free to save and keep listening to the playlist in the description if you were listening along, because it is a banger playlist. I love it personally. And other than that, I guess we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.